Good morning to all the Namibian learners out there. My name is Ngame Ndunge Namwandi, and I'll be your English teacher for today. In my class today, I have Chanel. Good morning, Chanel, and welcome back to our class. Before we start with today's lesson, we are going to take our hand sanitizers, sanitize our hands, rub in and out between your fingers, Chanel. Okay, straighten our arms just to see if we are keeping the social distance. So today's lesson will be about pronouns. Today we are going to look at pronouns. Let us look on page 3. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word that we use instead of a noun. Chanel, can you still remember what a noun is? Yes, you can still remember what a noun is. A noun is a naming word. So we use a pronoun, or a pronoun is a word that we use instead of a name. So if I don't want to keep mentioning your name, say for instance, Selma, Hilda, I would rather use a pronoun to replace it with your names. Now, we are going to look at the different types of pronouns that we have. We have a personal pronoun and a possessive pronoun. When we talk about personal pronouns, we are simply referring to people or things, okay? Now, we use a pronoun to replace a noun. Examples, when we are referring to people, we have I, me, you, she, he, us, them, they, we. And when we are referring to things, because we cannot say he, she, we use it, this, and they. Moving on, we are going to move on to possessive pronoun. What is a possessive pronoun, Chanel? A possessive pronoun indicates ownership. What does that mean? It shows that something belongs to someone or something belongs to a thing. Example, when we are referring to people, we use the words like my, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, our, ours, theirs. And when we are referring to things, we use its. Now, very important, I just want to make something very clear because we confuse it's with an apostrophe and it's with belonging. Now, let us look on the chalkboard. I'm going to explain the difference between the two. It's without an apostrophe and it's with an apostrophe. It's without an apostrophe shows possession. What does that mean? It means that something belongs to a thing. For example, the cat is licking its tail, okay? And it's with an apostrophe. It shows contraction. This is what we call an apostrophe. Right, now, what does contraction mean? Contraction means when the word is shortened. Now, if it's with an apostrophe, it means that there is a letter missing, but it's not forgotten. Okay? There is a letter that is omitted. There was supposed to be a letter here, but it is shortened to make the word small. So this means it is. And this one, like I said, it says the cat is eating its food. I hope you can see the difference between the two. This is for possession, that means it's for belonging, and this is for contraction, meaning the word is shortened or it is made smaller. Chanel, can you see the difference? I hope you're not going to confuse these two. It without an apostrophe and it with an apostrophe. I hope that you are paying attention and that you are ready to do your work. But before we say goodbye, Chanel, we are going to take our hand sanitizer, sanitize our hands, rub our hands in and out, in between our fingers, straighten our arms, Chanel, just to see if you are practicing the social distance. Goodbye.
Hi everyone. You can't hug your friends anymore, but you can still give yourself some love, or you can practice how to blow hugs. Mwah, 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 mwah. And until next time, bye!
Good morning to all the Namibian learners out there. My name is Ngamendunge Namngandi, and I will be your English teacher for today. In my class today, I have Chanel. Chanel, good morning and welcome back to our class. But before we start with today's lesson, we are going to take our hand sanitizers. Sanitize our hands. In and out, in between our fingers, straighten our arms, just to see if we are keeping the social distance. Today's topic will be about reflexive pronouns. So on page 3, before we start with today's lesson, we are quickly going to do a quick recap on the lesson that we did previously. So we are going to look at personal pronouns. Chanel, can you still remember what a personal pronoun is? Okay, so a personal pronoun refers to people or things. Okay, examples of personal pronouns are I, me, you, she, he, us, them, they, we. When we are referring to things, we simply say it, this, or they. Moving on to possessive pronouns. Chanel, can you still remember what a possessive pronoun is? Yes, you can still remember what a possessive pronoun is. A possessive pronoun shows ownership. It shows that something belongs to someone or something belongs to a thing. All right, now, examples of possessive pronouns when we are referring to people are my, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, our, ours, the, theirs. When you are referring to things, it becomes it. Moving on to page 4. Learners, I want you to look on page 4. Now, on page 4, there is today's topic, reflexive pronoun. What is a reflexive pronoun? A reflexive pronoun refers back to a noun or pronoun. Reflexive pronouns are used when the same person or people appear twice in a sentence. Now, in that box, there are examples that are given for you. I is an example of a personal pronoun, but when we have to refer it to a reflexive pronoun, it becomes myself. Quickly, before we come to the example, I want to highlight one important thing, and that is reflexive pronoun usually ends with self or selves. Now, self refers to one thing, and selves refers to more than one. All right, now the examples in the box are I. I is a personal pronoun. So when you refer it to a reflexive pronoun, it becomes myself. You can be one person, or when we are referring to more people. So if it's one person, it has to be yourself. If it's more than one person, it becomes yourselves. He. When we are referring he to a reflexive pronoun, it becomes himself. She. When we have to refer it to a reflexive pronoun, it becomes herself. It. When we have to refer it to a reflexive pronoun, it becomes itself. We simply means we are in a group, we are many. So it becomes ourselves, and they becomes themselves. Now, underneath there are few examples of reflexive pronoun and personal pronouns, and this is just to show you how we use it in a sentence. Chanel, do you have any question? She understood. She does not have any question. Learners, I want you to look on page 5. On page 5, there is a story for us. I am going to ask Chanel to read it to us, and please, you need to listen and pay attention. As she reads, you are quiet. We are not going to read the whole story for you. You must ask Mommy and Daddy to finish it for you. Chanel, start. Paul had a funny experience at school today. She made a Valentine's card for John, but he did not make one for her. I wish he had made me one too, she thought to herself. We are going to stop there. Let us give Chanel a round of applause. Woo! We are going to read the question number 10. Write down the examples of reflexive pronoun from line 3 and line 14. On page 6, there is exercise 2. Exercise 2, the instruction says, look at the pictures next to the sentences and choose the correct reflexive pronoun to fill in the blank spaces. Now remember, I said reflexive pronouns, they usually end with self and selves. Now you are going to look at the pictures and you are going to determine which reflexive pronoun will fit in the blank space. I'll do one example for you. Always protect yourselves from the rain. Always protect yourself from the rain. That is number 1. Moving on to page 7. On page 7, the instruction says, write the correct personal pronouns below the reflexive pronouns given to start a sentence with. Okay? Now, in the small box, you can see there are examples of personal pronouns. So what you are going to do is example myself. Now, you are going to write a sentence using a personal pronoun that falls under myself. I have given you the example, and the example is I love myself. Underneath the box or underneath the column, there is also an activity that you need to do. B, the instruction says, underline the reflexive noun in each sentence below. Now, if you see any word that ends with self or selves, that means that will be your reflexive pronoun. Chanel, are you following? Yes, she is following. So I hope you are also following and that you are paying attention. Learners, let us look on page 8. On page 8, there is exercise 4. Exercise 4, the instruction says, identify the types of pronouns underlined in each sentence and write them on the lines provided. Now, if you can still remember, previously we did personal pronouns and possessive pronouns. So I hope you can still remember the examples of personal pronouns and possessive pronoun. But the instruction says the types of pronouns underline, meaning you are going to write what type of a pronoun is I. And number 2, you are going to write what type of a pronoun is she. So I expect you to write personal pronoun or possessive pronoun or reflexive pronoun. Underneath number 10, there is also an activity that you will have to do. The instruction says, write the reflexive pronoun from the box below to complete each sentence. Now, the examples of reflexive pronoun are written in those small boxes that you see there. Number 1, I told to always give all my effort. So now you are going to fill in the blank spaces where I say the type of reflexive pronoun. In any case, I'm going to fill that one for you. I told Chanel, who? Myself, to always give all my effort. Learners, I hope that you are listening and that you are paying attention. Let us move on to page 9. On page 9, there is exercise 5. Exercise 5 falls under possessive pronouns. Now, there is an example that is given to you in the box. The example is, I and me are pronouns used within a sentence. I is used in the subject of a sentence. Example, George and I clean the kitchen every evening. Me, when do we use me? Me is used in the predicate of a sentence. Example, Shannon will give me the doll. Now, the instruction for the activity that you are going to do is, you are going to write I as a personal pronoun or me as a personal pronoun on the blank line to complete each sentence. Chanel, are you with me? Yeah, she's listening. My sister wanted to help with my homework. So you will have to fill in one of the personal pronouns, whether it is I or me. Moving on, there is also an activity that you need to do underneath number 10. B, it says, fill in the missing words in the table below. Use the correct reflexive pronoun. Now, you are given two blocks there. One is for personal pronouns and the other one is for reflexive pronoun. Underneath me, you will have to write a reflexive pronoun that refers to me. Underneath us, you will have to write a reflexive pronoun that refers to us. Underneath you, you will have to write a reflexive pronoun that refers to you. Underneath it, you will have to write a reflexive pronoun that falls under it. Chanel, do you have any question? No. Learners, I hope that you have paid attention and that you are going to do your work. And please always remember to wash your hands. But before we say ta-ta, we are going to sanitize our hands. Chanel? Rub our hands in and out, between our fingers. And it's time to say ta-ta!
Hi everyone, I'm back, and if you are scared of what you read on social media, talk to your parents and ask them the questions. They know everything. Until next time, bye!
Namibia's rising talents displaying the best goals, breathtaking saves, Khafar like a 1-2 combination on the pitch, as well as the biggest misses. It's the MTC Hop Soul Youth League Soccer Show, showcasing Africa's next soccer superstars. Only on One Africa Television, every Wednesdays at 18:30. Aye, is Super Disc on another level.
This fishing community on Mozambique's northern coast has been hit hard. People here are suffering from high rates of malnutrition, but that's not all. The greatest concern is the high rates of HIV infection and AIDS, the main cause of death in adults and young people across Mozambique. Poor nutrition makes it even more difficult for people to fight the disease. 21-year-old Alima Artur is the daughter of one of these fishermen. A few years ago, she suddenly started suffering from an unknown illness.
Me encontrei desesperada, também triste, minha vida só era chorar. Pensei que já estava a ir já.
All this changed the day Alima met Arlek Anna Abel from a project called Chapani. With support from IFAD, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the Belgian Fund for Food Security, staff from Chapani work with villagers to combat the dual threats of HIV and malnutrition. When Alima tested positive for HIV and AIDS, Arlek encouraged her to form a support group. Alima chose her father and aunt, who helped her to stay optimistic and healthy. In fact, teaching people to eat well is an important part of Arlek's work.
Eu ensinei elas para que pudesse enriquecer os alimentos para ela poder as hemoglobinas não baixarem. Então, já se alimenta agora de verduras, não só do peixe.
As part of the Chapani project, cooking demonstrations are held for everyone in the community. The session today features the highly nutritious moringa plant, a fast-growing, drought-resistant tree unknown to many locally. Now it has become a popular item in the local cuisine. Maria Machambi, who is not HIV positive, is learning to create her own garden with more than 6,000 other families in the area. The idea is spreading quickly throughout the community, with locally trained volunteers now leading the process.
They share their ideas with their neighbors and everyone gets excited. For us, that is key. Once communities own the process and they don't need an external person to tell them how to cook food, how to prepare it, they do it within themselves.
The success of the project has motivated IFAD to expand nutrition education across the nation over the next 3 years. Meanwhile, Alima is playing a key role in spreading the word about healthy living. Through songs, she informs people about safeguarding against HIV and AIDS, adopting healthy eating habits, and learning to cope with the disease.
Vê lá, me repara só. Sabe, uma pessoa pode me ver, não saber que eu tenho esse tipo de problema. Hã? Estou bem, hein? Viste?
And with more than 10% of Mozambique's adult population infected with HIV, this message has never been more pertinent. This report was produced by Jonathan Elliott for the United Nations.
EFC.